Aloha, everyone, and welcome to Oahu Democrats' Let's Talk Story about our City Council's reapportionment. As we know, the decisions that are going to be made in the next few weeks will have an effect on us and our district lines and actually who might represent us for the next 10 years. And so it's important that we all know how and why districts are drawn the way they're going to be drawn. And it's also good to know that now is the time for public input so we can make our voices heard about this very important decision that will affect all of our lives. And with us, I'm so excited and very honored to have Chace Shigemasa, Commissioner and Vice Chair of the Honolulu Reapportionment Commission. Chace is also an active member of the Democratic Party of Hawaii and is a voting member of the party's State Central Committee. Welcome, Chace.
Aloha. Aloha, everyone.
Before we get down to the nitty-gritty about district lines, Chace, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, what you do for a living, what you do for fun, and especially about your beautiful ohana?
Aloha. Thank you, everyone, for having me. Thank you to the Oahu County Committee for allowing me to share a presentation and to encourage public participation in the process, into the reapportionment process. Well, my name again is Chace. I'm very involved in the party. As Lorna mentioned, I'm on the serve as the Senate District 15, non-female FCC member. And I serve in various capacities in the community. I serve as the neighborhood board chair for my neighborhood, also the chair of the Citizens Advisory Committee of the Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization, and a few other community roles. I work in my work life. I work as the district quality coordinator for Lowe's Home Improvement. Soon to be, I'll be moving over to a new position in a few weeks as the assistant store manager for our Evile store. So exciting times ahead. I'll go ahead and share my screen. I would like to introduce my family. My partner, Chalet, we've been trekking along, and she's been supporting me in all of my endeavors. And my three children, my son Braden is 10, my daughter Aubrey Brooke is 8, and my youngest Zoe Brianne is 3 years old. For fun, I play with my children all the time, and so being a very busy father during the week and all the volunteer activities, I do make sure I have the time at the end of the week to make sure that we're spending time with each other. Family time is so important. But that's a little bit about me. I look forward to meeting you all this evening if I haven't met you before. I look forward to our presentation and to start the conversation in regards to reapportionment. Mahalo.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Beautiful family. Now, can you please tell us why, with all that you're doing in your life, why you decided to apply to be a member of the commission and how you and all the other commissioners were chosen?
Well, I didn't apply for the position to be a member of the commission. I was approached to share my mana'o and be a participant in the process as far as commissioner. And so, I didn't apply for it, but, I think it was extremely important for me when asked to become a member or to be considered to be a member that I am in touch with my community.
And you have a big presentation for us. So let's get started with your screen sharing.
Beautiful. So again, this presentation is throughout the course of this evening, this presentation that I'm going to be giving, I would like to mention one thing and make one thing very clear. I am not speaking at any point on behalf of the commission, but as a member of the commission in an effort to share information with our community and encourage participation in the process. So the current makeup of the commission, we have 9 members. Commission chair is James Duke Iona. I serve as the vice chair. We have Shayna Cupperos, Daniel Douglas, Natalia Hutzi Burdick, Bert Lau, Marvin Mao, Alan Quevedo Jr., and Mr. Richard Singh. so far, the commission has met 5 times in July 15th and July 27th, and again in September 1st, 20th, and the 28th of September. Now, there was a gap between July because in July we just met to introduce ourselves to the other commission members and also to organize the commission and create and get our leadership with the chair and our vice chair. Now you'll see that gap, and that gap is because the census data was not available until mid-August. And so when the Office of Election Staff got that information, then they went ahead and they plugged the numbers in. And in September 1st, we had a presentation. In September 20th, we were given the first 4 drafts, which the commission asked for. And at the September 28th meeting, the meeting we just recently had, we approved 3 different drafts that I'll go into later on in more detail. Now, the future meetings of the commission are as scheduled: October 7th, October 11th, both at 6 p.m. Those are our public hearings, and October 26th, 2021 at 5 p.m. And all that information is also available on our commission website. So I'll just go briefly into what the charter requires us to do. So the commission members must be chosen by shall consist of 9 members. The presiding officer of the council, which is the council chair, would provide the list, and it will be passed by a majority of the council. And that would have to have been established before July 1st, which it was this year. Now, no more, it does designate that no more than a majority of any party shall be from the same political party. So that's something that we want to make sure that that was very clear. The current makeup of the commission is there are 4 independents, 3 Democrats, and 2 Republicans. In effecting reapportionment, the commission shall be guided by the following criteria. No district shall be drawn so as unduly favor a person or political faction. Districts, insofar as practical, shall be contiguous and compact. District lines shall, where possible, follow permanent and easily recognized features, and when practical, shall coincide with census tract boundaries. And after the commission's work is done, on or before January 2nd of the following appointment year, the commission shall file with the city clerk's reapportionment plan. And so, as you can see, we're moving at such a quick pace to ensure that we can meet that deadline. I'd like to go into detail about the 10% standard. This talks about the deviation. This presentation was given to the commission at their September 1st meeting. And I thought it was extremely important to include this into the presentation so we can understand what guides the commission as far as population data. The Supreme Court established that minor deviations from equality do not make out a prima facie case of invidious discrimination under the 14th Amendment, which would mean that ideal populations must be, and we must have ideal populations in each district and no more than a 10% deviation. So what does that mean? So if we assume that there's a population of 600,000 in 6 districts, assume 1 legislator is elected to each district, the ideal district population would be 100,000. And so if you see the apportionment plan B, you would want something that looks like that rather than a plan that you have 10,000 in one district, 400,000 in another. So here's the example of a possible deviation. City has 3 million people with 3 districts, District A, B, and C. The ideal district population would be 1 million people in each of the districts. That would be perfect 1 person, 1 vote. If we say after the reapportionment, District A has 1,020,000 people, District B, 1,030,000, and District C has 950,000 people, then the relative deviation for each district would be attained by dividing the absolute deviation by the ideal district population. That can be seen in this example below. The overall range is a statement of the population deviations of the most populous district and the least populous district. And so in this case, because there is a 3%, a negative 5%, which would result in an overall average of 8% deviation. So the 10% or higher deviation in an apportionment plan, which has an overall population deviation range of greater than 10%, is a prima facie, and that's discriminatory. And the city and county would have the burden in the litigation process of showing why, what was the rationale into creating that. You know, is it necessary to implement a rational state policy, that it does not weaken the voting strength of a particular group. Now, if there's less than 10% deviation, then it does not present a prima facie rule of discrimination, and it is a rebuttable presumption. And that means the deviation that it's less than 10% is not just, it's not a safe harbor, but a plan of a small deviation can still be challenged and found unconstitutional if the difference is if the initial burden is on the challenger to show a violation of now the equal protection clause. So in regards to the revised charter in section 3-103, where we went over this before, it should have no undue favor, contiguous and compact, and permanent and easily recognizable features. And this is what the commission was tasked to use as a guidance in creating these maps. No district shall be drawn as to unduly favor a person or political faction. What is undue favoritism? Well, this is a subject of numerous and diverse opinions. In June 2019, the Supreme Court decided that a question of partisan gerrymandering represented a justiciable political question, which cannot be dealt with federal court system. However, this means the challengers look to state courts to get guidance. And now, in the absence of any clear standards, the members of the commission should undertake the responsibilities in good faith, with the recognition that the public interest is their primary concern. Now, how a person or political faction will be affected by a reapportionment plan should not be the primary concern. And this is what the commission was tasked with. Now, when it says districts must be, insofar as practical, shall be contiguous and compact, one of the oldest reapportionment principles that has gone through the charters, the various revisions of the charters, one Supreme Court case described that contiguity and compactness as a guard against gerrymandering. And it serves as an independent values. It facilitates political organizations, electoral campaigning, and constitutional representation. Now, according to drastic departures from compactness are a signal that something may be amiss beyond their literal meaning. There is no exact legal definition. Districts that are not compact and contiguous will generally be evident from their appearance. Now, the district lines, this is where we talk about the census blocks. What the commissioners did have to use is census blocks. And that's why sometimes you'll see on the map where the census boundaries have, the boundaries for a district may look, might create a little area because that's just how the block is. And I will go over that. And I'll show you an example when we go to District A in most of the plans. Now, these are some suits that were brought up, and I felt that it was important so the community can understand what suits there were. That in the 1991 commission, a suit was brought claiming that the leeward community of Waipahu was unlawfully split amongst 3 different council districts. The court acknowledged that the Constitution protects voting rights in political groups as well as economic units, racial communities, and other entities. Well, however, Waipahu is a heterogeneous community containing a range of racial, political, and socioeconomic groups. Kawamoto failed to show that the area would have sufficiently common interests that would be manifested in illegal discrimination. So in that plan, that court case did fail. Now, there was a court case in 2005, 2001 commission. In this case, the court acknowledged a deviation range of 10.89, but the court accepted that there was a prima facie case of discrimination. So the commission had to demonstrate a racial basis for the larger than acceptable variation, and they had to demonstrate adherence to all the other redistricting principles. So this one also failed because the commission was able to demonstrate their rational basis. Excuse me. So Milda versus 2011 commission, the petitioners asserted that the council reapportionment commission did not follow the lawful process, were not supported by any evidence. And so consequently, the petitioners failed to demonstrate a clear and indisputable right to relief, and the petitioner was not entitled to any mandamus relief. So in summary, the overriding objective is district size, equality, race, ethnicity, religion, etc. cannot be could not motivate the reapportionment decision. It's the commission's aim to keep deviations under 10%, have a constitutional, rational, and specific reasons for all deviations, comply with all three requirements in regards to the charter, and always acting in good faith. Now, currently today, there are three plans. Now, in the September 28th meeting, the commission went over all the different plans. There was the Ka'ena plan, Makapuu Lighthouse plan, the Ka'ena Makapuu plan, and the modified existing plan. And so three plans went forward. The Ka'ena Makapuu member draft 1 plan, which was submitted by myself, Ka'ena Makapuu member draft 2 plan, which is submitted by Commissioner Bert Lau, and the modified existing district plan, which was submitted by the elections office after we had advised them what plans in the September 20th meeting that we wanted to see created. So I just wanted to show very briefly, before I go through all the different plans, the 2011 reapportionment plan. It's very hard to see this, but I wanted to show you what the commission has done in the last 20 years. So the 2001 Reapportionment Commission, this was the plan, and we'll see some major differences in the next plan in 2011. So this will give you an idea. It's really hard to read, and I'm glad they adopted color in the next year. So 2011 Reapportionment Commission. Here you'll be able to see the current lines. And so what you'll see is these blue lines in the map. And I hope if you have the presentation, you'll be able to maybe scroll in or on the PDF or maximize your screen so you can zoom in and see where these lines actually are. The blue line represents where the old council district line was. And wherever you see the new area that's in that council district's color, those are all new lines. And so what you see is in District 1 in 2011, it didn't include Makakilo. Then the new district moved into Makakilo and moved to include Makakilo in that plan. District 2, not much movement. They did lose a section of the eastern side of the island to District 3, and also it looks like Waipio Acres was cut out in 2011, and that small section or sliver that you would get to Mililani through Kifapa Drive. For quite some, not many changes in District 4. District 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 have quite a lot of changes, and the changes here, as you can see, is District 6 in the 2011 Commission moved quite far into District 8. And so District 8 gave up a lot of ground to District 6 in that commission because of population shifts and changes. So the Ka'ena Makapuu draft, and then this is the Ka'ena Makapuu high overview of the draft. And then we'll go into each district so you can see each district and how each district looks. District A uses, what you see is it includes a lot of the Waianae Coast, and then it moves over, down into Makakilo, in keeping Makakilo in that same district, into Kapolei, and using Kapolei Parkway as a divider between Districts A and District I, or otherwise known as District 1 and District 9. District B, in this plan, which is a little different for the Waipio Acres and the Mililani town, it does what it takes back what the 2011 Commission did by including Waipio Acres in District I, or otherwise known as District 9. And so this sliver down here, what you'll see in other plans, that's what this major change here. And then moving over on the east side in District B, it takes over Huimanu and above Kamehameha highway using the census tract boundary in that area. District C, it keeps Waimanalo, Kailua, and Kaneohe mostly intact, and keeping that area to a certain deviation. District D, this was one of the, this includes, in this member draft, includes a revision from the original draft where we essentially took, and you'll see it's in that red area, we essentially took the Makapu Lighthouse draft plan for District C and E and just changed, because the outer boundaries did not change, we wanted, the ideal was to make sure that all districts have a Mauka to Makai in the reason why we had this draft. District E, which otherwise known as District 5, you'll see as well as this district, it traded some of Kapahulu, so this district could go all the way to the sea. And then here's that major deviation. This is the change, because what the commissioners did is the commissioners used a base map to create their revisions. And so here you'll see the original map and then what the deviation was. Excuse me, or what, not the deviation, the revision was to the map. District F includes Kalihi Valley, Chinatown, downtown. And here's a major change that you'll see in District F, that this district no longer hugs the north of the freeway and goes all the way to Pro City Country Club or that portion of Aiea. District G now would take portions of that area and provide a District F with some of those areas in Kalihi. So this district would go from Mauka to Makai. This district would also, so the changes for this current council district, Fort Shafter would be added to the district, Honolulu Valley, Honolulu Gardens, Halava, Pro Ridge, and Aiea Heights. District H, one of the major changes here is what you'll notice is this district will now include all of Waipahu, lower from the freeway. So that whole area of Waipahu, in the 2011 commission, it was divided, and so now Waipahu will in this plan would be all inclusive in that area. Now District I, as I mentioned earlier, District I, the Waipio Acres, Mililani Town, Village Park, and it would go down to Ella Villages for its Makai section, hugging the Fort Weaver Road, left of Fort Weaver Road when it gets into Eva and Iroquois Point area, passing West Lock. So a major difference in this one, what you'll notice would be that Waipio Acres area would be included in now District I. So the overall deviation for this map, for this draft, was 4.36%. And this is the various deviation for each council district. And this is also available on the commission website for viewing. So 4.36 would be the overall deviation. We'll move on to the next plan. So the Kaena Makapu member draft 2 plan, here's a high overview of the plan. There are quite a few changes in this plan that I'll go over just so you guys are aware of what this plan, and all these 3 plans are the 3 plans moving over to public hearing. District A, pretty much the same as the Kaena Makapu draft that I just went over. And I'll go over the initial changes that Commissioner Bert Lau brought up. Now, Commissioner Lau, looking at the left side of the original plan, the proposed plan was to take out that area southeast of Papipi Road, and like I mentioned earlier on census tracts. Now this is another one of those census tracts. So in order for us to follow, that's why it's a little weirdly shaped, because the census tract has has that following Papipi Road and making that kind of like a L shape over to Eva Beach side. And so Commissioner Bert Lau had moved that line to include Papipi Road, and everything on the in that graded or proposed amendment area would now be included in District I or District 9. District B, pretty much what Commissioner Bert Lau or Commissioner Lau showed in his presentation is he was actually taking that Waipio Acres back out and giving that Waipio Acre and the Kapapa Road area of Mililani Town back to District B, or otherwise known as District 2, and removing it from District I or District 9. And so, and the reason I'm saying district by alphabet is the commission has not decided. The commission will also be deciding on how to number the districts. And so I don't want to misinterpret by saying something is District 2 or District 3, and maybe in the future it might not be that number. And something that we're definitely looking for comment and feedback from the community on as well. Over on the eastern side of the District B, you'll see that Ahui Manu area west of Kahekili Highway was given back to District 2, or District B, and that area south of Kahekili was given back to District 3 in the Hui Manu area, and south of the Kahekili Highway was given to District 2, as that's currently how it looks today in the current council district. District C would just be that minor that change. It keeps Waimanalo, Kailua, Kaneohe, Enchanted Lakes, and Manawili intact. And it would do that little trade-off as we mentioned earlier with District B. Now, District D, no changes were made to District D in the Ka'enamakapu plan, except for providing a sliver of Kaka'ako to District E. So what you'll see is in that blue area, now that district would go to the ocean in this area, and it will be a trade-off from District E. So what you'll see here is District D, E, and F does a little trade. And so this area where in the previous map, District F would have part of Kaka'ako, Commissioner Lau had mentioned that he made this change to ensure that this district did go to the sea. So here is our District E, or otherwise known as District 5 to many, currently today. The only change as mentioned was that change. And then also what we want to make sure that we bring up, that I want to make sure that everybody is aware of, is that the other change was to the area in between District E and F, and that's this area that includes Papakalea homes. So that Papakalea area would no longer be part of District E, but now District F. And that's something that it's extremely important as whenever we draw these lines, when we move a certain census tract and put it in another district, then we have to keep in mind the deviation and just ensure that if you're taking a population number out of one area, you have to put it into another. District G, no major changes to District E, or otherwise known as District 7, to the Ka'enamakapu plan. This plan also does the same thing as the previous plan of taking the district all the way from Mauka to Makai, including Port Shafter, Moangoa, Halava, Pearl Ridge. Although this member draft takes out that sliver or section by the country club area and those homes, Mauka. District H, a few things that we want to mention is West Lock area was removed from District H and given to District I. And so when something like that happens, you have to now compensate for that population. And so that's where the area by Aiea Heights, or excuse me, that Pro Country Club area was taken out of the plan. So in order to give West Lock to District I, we needed to increase the population of District H. And so here's just a overview of all the changes that were made to the original proposal that I just mentioned in regards to West Lock, in regards to the area in Aiea Waimalu. So District I, as mentioned earlier when we talked about District B, that changes in Waipio were made. Waipio were made, and then also the changes in West Lock and that area by Papipi Road. So here's that West Lock area. It's more zoomed in version, so you can see the exact changes that were made to those streets, and then also the Papipi Road area. Now in this plan, the member job 2, the total deviation was 3.75%. Now here is the modified existing proposal that's before the commission and before the public. In this proposal, District A, and here's just an overview of the whole of everything. And what you'll notice is not very many changes were made as far as this plan. And this plan, the modified existing plan, didn't make quite a lot of changes. Excuse me. And then we'll go over that briefly as we go through the presentation. So in District A, what you'll notice is this area that is currently east of Kapolei Parkway, that area currently belongs to District A, and that'll now be given to District B, or excuse me, District I, District 9, to what many of you may know as. And that's that area down here. And that's because when population shifts and changes, we have to make sure we move the lines to not do it where so one district has more than the correct or targeted amount of people. Now District B, now when we get to these larger districts, it's very, in order to include the full picture of the whole district, that's why we're very zoomed out. And so it might be, I apologize if it's hard to see, but hopefully that PDF document that you guys all have, you'll be able to zoom in on that PDF. In Waipio Acres, as mentioned earlier, it does not make a change here in the district area. What happens is they continue to keep Waipio Acres in District B. And that's the difference that you'll see in the other plans. When we go over to the eastern side of the island, what you'll notice is that area south of Kahekili Highway is now provided or now given to District B and taken from District 3 or District C. So you'll see that here. If we go to District C, you'll see that District C keeps Waimanalo, Kailua, Maunawili, Enchanted Lakes, Kaneohe, Kaneohe Marine Corps Base, Temple Valley, and Ahuimanu intact. Although it does lose that portion east of Kahekili Highway to the sea that would now be included in District D in this proposal. District D, what you'll notice, District D is in purple. And so that red current line in Kapahulu area, if you see that line here, that is the current line. And so District D would now push District D over into the Kapahulu area and take more of the Kapahulu. And then also there's a sliver of District C that may change near Sierra Drive, Wailea Avenue, Kohohead Avenue. Now District E, otherwise known as District 5, You'll see that other changes here where previously it was District E, but now District D, Council District 4 would take over that area in Kapahulu. We'll lose some of this area here. And then on the other side of the district, it would include parts of Makiki. And so this area by Prospect and Nahoa Street would now be the new border, and Manoa Road will be that border here. And so this area that's western of Manoa Road or more Mauka of the road towards Tantalus area would now be considered District F. So as I mentioned, as I mentioned earlier, that area here would be included in District F. District F would lose some of its area by Makiki to District E, or otherwise known as District 5. District F would pick up this area north of School Street from District 7 and Liliha Street up until Judd. So this area would be included in the new District F. And District F would continue to go follow the freeway line, including areas like Kalihi Valley, Port Shafter, Moanalua Gardens, Moanalua Valley, Halava, and Aiea Heights. The only difference here, what you'll see is District F will take from District 8, or otherwise known as District H, it would take the Aiea area. So that lower Aiea area, that area would now be District F. District G would remain quite intact. The only deviation for District G, or the only change that you'll see in District G would be that this district would lose that area to District F, or otherwise known as District 6. So District 7 would most likely stay the same in its areas, but just lose a sliver of Kalihi, or excuse me, north of School Street and east of the Liliha Street. District H, one of the major things that this plan would accomplish for District H would be that this would include Waipahu fully. So it would hug Fort River Road and the freeway. Everything south of the freeway would be now included into the Waipahu area, which is currently in the current council plan that does not have that area included. Also mentioning what we talked about earlier is it would lose this area by Pearl Ridge and Aiea, lower of the freeway that's currently in District H. That would go to now District G. Excuse me, District F, or otherwise known as District 6. District I, the major change in District I is that they would get more of a beach area. And so Kapolei Parkway would be the divider line in this district. And then that area by Papipi Road on the lower part, it would not go to the left of Papipi Road. That Papipi Road would be included in the other plans. In this plan, the difference would be that district would be, or that census tract would remain in District A. Another thing to mention, as we just mentioned earlier, District I takes that area from District H takes that area of Waipahu from District I. The current deviation here would be 6.82%, still within the range. So those are all the three plans that are proposed to the commission, to the public, excuse me. The commission is proposing for public comment. Now there are various ways that you can participate in the process, and that would be on Thursday, October 7th, 2021 at 6 p.m. You can register to testify by going to webex.com, clicking join. This is to submit oral testimony, of course, entering this meeting number 248-897-05913, and clicking register so you can complete the registration process to be included in that meeting. You can also join by audio conference at dialing 1-408-418-9388 with the same access code. And the event password is 100 or 100-72172. Now, due to COVID-19, members of the public are not allowed in the meeting room, but the meeting can be viewed on television, live broadcast on Olelo TV channel 54, either live streaming on Olelo and also live on YouTube. The second public hearing, what you'll notice is the meeting is on Monday, October 11th at 6 p.m. The meeting ID does change for this meeting. It's 249-542-6647 to submit oral testimony. You can also call in using that same number. And again, this meeting, public testimony is encouraged, but the public will not be allowed in the meeting room at that time. And you can view the meeting on these platforms. Now, how to submit written testimony. Written testimony may be emailed by 10 a.m. So make sure if you're planning to email the testimony over, that you're emailing it before 10 a.m. And the email, you would be emailing it to Doris Lamb, who's the commission aide. And that email is reapportionment@honolulu.gov for distribution at the meeting. If submitted written testimony should include such as address, email address, phone numbers, which may be posted by the city clerk and available to the public on the city's website. That's all that I have. I'd like to thank you so much for listening to this presentation. I put my information there. If you want to touch base with me at a later time, you're more than welcome to email me or contact me via my cell at 808-722-1757. Mahalo. I'm open for any questions that you might have.
Oh my, that was wonderful. That was really detailed. And we have a couple of questions in the chat. One is from Rod. Shall I read it? I'll read it for you. What was the rationale for going to the sea? What were the pros and cons for such a proposal?
So the rationale from going to the sea, now I think some of the commissioners, we looked at the older plans. So meaning that we looked at the plans of 1991 commission, the 2001 commission, and the 2011 commission. What we noticed in the 1991 commission plan, they had all the districts had a Mauka and a Makai. And so now when we were talking as a commission, the commissioners had felt, a few of the commissioners had felt that we wanted to explore that option. And so this is just an option. It's not set in stone that we have to do it. It's what the commissioners are looking as an option if it's the will of the commission to create to really look back at thinking, and I speak on behalf of myself as a commissioner, that we try to go back to the ahupua'a, Mauka to Makai, and the cultural significance it has here in our island.
Thank you. Another question from Cora. Cora, I wonder if you're talking about the modified existing plan. She asks, District F, what is the Makai, Evatt direction, boundary street, separating Kalihi Palama and Lower Kalihi?
Actually, I'm referring to draft 1 and 2, I think, not the modified.
Okay.
So draft 1 and 2 of that plan would use North King Street as the divider. And so on that plan, I can go back and share my screen on that plan.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was Dillingham or King on the maps that I saw.
Yeah, so this divider right here is North King Street, and it goes from River and Aala all the way down to North King, and then it'll follow Middle Street, and it hugs the border of Fort Shafter going to the mountain ridge.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
There are no more questions in the chat. Does anyone else have a question they'd like to ask? Anyone? Well, goodness. I guess this was just so thorough. Thank you very much, Chace. And
I hope I didn't put anyone to sleep, but I thank you all there. I think to touch on this is an extremely important process. There are 10, the ramification or the ideas that we, or the plan that passes within the next few weeks to the next few months will be set in stone for 10 years. And so it's really important. And I really want to encourage everybody to be a part of the process. If you want to go to the Commission's website, as I mentioned in my presentation, the Commission's website, you can find more detailed information, actually has some links to use that takes you to Google, and you can actually zoom in a little better. That can be found at www.honolulu.gov/elections/reapportionment. And all this information is wonderful to have, and the information is there for everybody. And I'd encourage everyone to either testify or give written testimony at our next public hearing meeting.
Chace, we have another question from one of your fellow Young Dems. It is from Kaleo Chang, who asks, how do you feel about being one of the minority of young commissioners?
That's as a commissioner, I did task, I do ask the commission a lot of, at the last commission meeting, we're tasked to draw the line for the future generations, and the impacts that and the decisions that we make as a commission today might have adverse or positive or negative impacts in the future. And that's why being very vocal on the commission about exploring the idea of Ahupua'a district, because the last time we had a district like that was in 1991. And that's 30 years ago, where we had Mountain 2 C districts. And so the question was, is it going to take 10 more years and the commissioners of the 2031 commission to try to go back to that? Is it a good idea to explore? And so that, I really enjoy all the mana'o from the different commissioners, and even the mana'o from the community. It's so encouraging when we hear testimony of people getting involved in the process. And thank you so much, Kaleo, for that question.
Anyone else? There was another question. There was somebody else who had their hand up. Does anyone? No? Yes, Maheshi? Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Maheshi. I have two questions. Where can we see these three maps again?
Oh, definitely. Let me go ahead and I'll place that link in the chat for everybody to see. So at the commission website, you can go ahead and look at that. And there's also a link that you can use to see it in a Google version. So you can really scroll in and zoom in on your community.
Okay, thanks. And my other question was, are these districts reapportioned solely on population, or are they drawn by the needs of the communities?
Great question. We do have to follow the population guidelines and the population targets for each district. We definitely take into account the various communities that we're including in certain districts. And I think it's important that we think not only are we looking at the number of in each district, but we're looking at what communities are in which districts and how it would coincide with the needs of those districts. I think as a commission, we are guided by that population number, but we definitely, as myself and other commissioners express, keeping certain communities together are extremely important.
I have a question. Does the commission take into consideration communities developments that are not yet open? For example, in Central Oahu and West Oahu, Ewa Beachside, there are new communities being planned.
Yes, the commission did take it was brought up in commission meetings in regards to Ho'opili, Coral Ridge, and the various developments happening in the Ala Moana, Kaka'ako, and Ward areas. And so just to name a few, yeah, we do look at that. And I think what you'll notice is in certain districts where we cut those lines, you'll notice that that area is cut into a certain district when the lines were drawn. And so it is something the commission is very much aware of.
Okay, anything more? Any other questions from anyone? If not, then mahalo to you, Chace, for spending time with us and explaining it and giving us the tools to examine further on our own. And please feel free to email Chace if you wish and ask him another question if you want. So, but meanwhile, mahalo to everybody for showing up and being here. And especially thank you, Chace, and all the commissioners that are going to be working so intensely in the next few weeks. Aloha.
Aloha, mahalo.